72 degrees, you barely notice it. You change it like it's nothing. But that number didn't exist for most of human history. No control over temperature, no negotiation with cold. Only one rule instead: survive whatever comes. And the cold they lived in wasn't just cold. -40 wasn't rare. It was normal for entire seasons. At that level, the body doesn't interpret temperature. It starts failing piece by piece. And yet, humans stayed there for tens of thousands of years, which means survival wasn't the real mystery. The real question is, what kind of thinking made it possible? We usually imagine they endured nature, but evidence suggests something different. They redesigned it. In Russia, archaeologists found structures sunk into the earth. Not rangelators, but deliberate geometry. Because below the surface, temperature stops behaving like air. It stabilizes, quietly holding warmth. So they didn't fight the cold above. They moved beneath it. And then something more complex appears. Layered construction, not walls, but systems. Each material solving a different failure point. Warm air trapped, moisture controlled, wind blocked. Nothing was accidental, even if they never wrote it down. Then comes the most extreme discovery. Entire homes built from mammoth bones, skulls as foundations, tusks as arches. A landscape turned into architecture. And somehow, it worked. Warmth inside could rise far above freezing outside. Not because of technology, but because of structure. Fire didn't just heat. It organized space. Different zones for survival, food, tools, rest. Even inside chaos, space became designed. But fire alone wasn't the real innovation. It was what they chose to burn. And why? Heat wasn't produced randomly. It was managed. And that changes everything about survival. Because survival stops being reaction and becomes control. And inside that control, something unexpected appears. Time itself starts behaving differently at night. Sleep came in phases, not continuous rest. And between those phases, awareness emerged. Not productivity, not stress. Something quieter. Meaning began forming inside darkness. Stories replaced silence around firelight, and survival turned into something more than survival. But nothing here was stable. Everything required repair. Warmth existed only as long as systems were maintained. So intelligence wasn't just invention, it was foresight, planning warmth before winter even arrived. And eventually, all of it disappeared. Not because it failed, but because it was no longer needed. And what was once essential became invisible, until modern science had to reconstruct it again. And now a thermostat on a wall means something different. It is not just control, it is inheritance, a memory of a world where warmth had to be built, slowly, carefully, together. And when you see it that way, comfort stops being normal. It becomes something you were given, not something you had.